A new report reveals Americans are prioritizing mental health during open enrollment this year. Joining us to discuss the challenges facing the American worker and provide advice on choosing the right health insurance plan is financial pro. We have Winnie Sun. She is also here to share important information from the new Aflac Workforces Report. Welcome, Winnie, and we see you got the Aflac duck with you.
I do. Joining from Southern California. Hello, Desiree.
Hello, thanks for joining us. So, what are some highlights from the new survey that we were just mentioning?
Well, the 2022-23 Aflac Workforces Report found more than half of the American workers surveyed are currently facing burnout. Now, this is a 52% jump from last year. And as you know, this isn't healthy to have in your company. This can impact job satisfaction and loyalty. Employees want to know that their employers care about their well-being. The report also found that only less than half of those surveys said that they actually feel confident in their understanding of their health insurance policies and the choices they are making during the annual open enrollment period, which is where we're at right now.
Wow, really interesting findings. What is the most surprising finding from the report?
Well, what really surprised me is just how little time most people devote to researching their benefit options during open enrollment. Most people spend less than 30 minutes on this, which we know is a lot less time than you take to plan a vacation. So 90% just select what they picked last year. But as we know, a lot has happened in the last few years, and employees should really take the time to carefully explore their options and explore what's best for them and their households. The report shows people are struggling emotionally and financially this season. It's important for everyone to know that you're not alone.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm just as guilty of being that person that I literally pick the same things I did last year, but I'm glad you're highlighting why it's important to really look over it and make sure that you're making the right selections. As a financial advisor, how important is this open enrollment season?
Well, Desiree, open enrollment is one of the most important times of the year for households, and decisions you make now will affect your entire coming year. So these are important, impactful financial decisions. For most families, healthcare costs make up a big chunk of the budget. So it's important to research your options. You want to have the right coverage you need when you need it, whether it be HMO, PPO. You want to ask about mental health coverage. It's covered now more than ever. Even if you didn't have this coverage before, there may be a plan that includes it for you now. So consider including supplemental insurance like accident or hospital policies offered by Aflac, which can sometimes bridge the financial gap between traditional plans. You may have heard of a crisis in the workplace, which makes these decisions even more important for workers.
We're talking about mental health resources. Another big topic a lot is inflation. What did the report say about how people are dealing with inflation and some other challenges?
Well, inflation is impacting everything from the cost of Thanksgiving to gas to all parts of your household budget. It's even had a major impact for many on their mental and emotional health. As we know, this affects how people feel, how they show up for work, at home. In the Aflac study, they found that a whopping 86% of employees reported high levels of burnout and have suffered mental health challenges, including anxiety, depression, trouble sleeping. In fact, half of the workers shared that their personal mental health had negatively impacted their job performance. So companies like Aflac have taken note and are providing more mental health coverage into their policies.
And how should other employers deal with the new reality of burnout? Mentioning how you said a lot of employees are reporting that. How should they deal with that?
Mhm. Well, I recently chatted with a friend and who told me that the pandemic had taken a toll on her son. He was about to start high school and his mental health was struggling. He needed help. And she found out, like many parents, she did research and she found out that health insurance policy wouldn't cover any of his needed therapy sessions. It was devastating. So now more than ever, we got to check out and see what options are available. Aflac has introduced mental health coverage into its individual and group policies. So you just want to check them out.
All right, all important information. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. And for more info, visit aflacworkforcesreport.com.